I just wanted to talk about something that makes me mad, and it has to do with men. When I was growing up, I knew that a lot of men's mothers treated them like babies. When they got older, they went out and found a wife who treated them like babies too, a woman who seemed a lot like their mothers. This is how women controlled men. They gave them nice things and made sure they stayed with them by controlling their stomachs and hearts. This is about women from the middle class. I've been seeing this for a long time, and the effects of this kind of female behavior are now being felt everywhere. The female control on men must be what the rest of this article is going to focus on, right? Well, not quite. In the fourth part of the article, a male author argues that even though women do control their partners in certain ways, you'd think this would be a good thing because guys would learn to be less controlled by their mothers, and for the most part, this is true. However, guys who didn't get enough attention from their mothers often hate them and resent them. I have a few friends who feel the same way, but I'm also finding that these same men whose mothers didn't take care of them as kids are some of the biggest problems in our society. If you're a mother who wants to make a simp, all you have to do is ignore your son. When he's older and looking for a girlfriend or wife, he'll probably choose the first one who comes along, and she'll probably be a terrible match for him. I'm not a mother. You're a mother if you have a son, and you may very well be one even if you never had children. It's like the saying goes, she's 50% of the man she's married to. If a mother doesn't pay attention to her son, he'll probably become the biggest super mangina or super simp in the world. If you want to make a super mangina or super simp, take away his mother's attention, and he'll choose to imprint and commit to the first woman he meets as an adult. It doesn't matter if that woman is good for him or not. He will seek her approval because he hasn't gotten that type of approval or enough attention from his mother. That's not true. One of the things that can make boys more likely to commit is if they don't have a father figure around, and the mom is their primary caregiver. That doesn't mean it always happens, but it does happen a lot more often where there's been some kind of absent dad or mom issue in a boy's life. The most common type of absent father that I see is the divorced dad. He's either gone for whatever reason, or he's just not around, and is the mom's primary caretaker. There are a lot more absent fathers today than there were in previous generations, which is one reason why there are more boys not being raised by their mothers and maybe getting incarcerated. Today, though, I realize that most of the time, there's no such thing as good female attention. Women control us more and more through our insecurities and housework. Most of the time, women don't even cook anymore. I also find it ironic that if a man's mother gives him too much attention when he's young, he'll look for a woman to give him the attention his mother never gave him. I've met a lot of strong, independent mothers who put their careers ahead of their kids. They were shocked to find out that their sons fell in love with the first bad woman who walked through the door. The mothers do everything they can to get their sons to leave these bad women, but they can't because the bad women are giving their sons more female attention. Then the men. I had a girlfriend break up with me a few months ago, and I'm in love with this girl, and I don't know how to stop it. What you need to do is stop trying so hard, relax, and let it happen naturally. Love will find you in the end. It doesn't matter if a woman is bad or good. Men like these without motherly love are made into manginas by default. You might be wondering how I know this. The sad truth is that I was one of these men. I didn't care about getting the attention of good women because any attention from women was good enough for me. I was so thirsty that I didn't care about myself. Until I finally met a woman who did care about me. I fell for her, and she loved me. It was not only the love of my life, but it was a motherly love that I had never known before. Yeah, well, you found someone special in the end. As did you, and that's what's important, he said as he looked up at her before kissing her lips softly. She felt the tears start to well in her eyes as she wrapped her arms around him tightly and kissed him back. I love you, she said breathlessly. And I love you, he replied with a smile. Their moment was interrupted by the sound of their baby crying out in distress. They would hurt the relationship between the husband and wife as well as the children. Men had to set the rules, not because of patriarchy, but so that the inmates wouldn't take over the asylum. Women kept control of men by taking care of their needs. Men used to be able to control women. But now it seems like they don't have that power anymore. Instead, women are controlling men by giving them little bits of attention to keep them interested. Men are starting to realize that our mothers made us very emotionally needy in the first place, and that we're not going to change. They're starting to figure out that it's not a bad thing for them to be needy. The new age of men is being led by the idea that expression and vulnerability are acceptable. It's time for men everywhere to start developing their own emotional needs to meet other guys who are doing the same and have support from each other. Why would a man want to be with a woman who doesn't want kids, doesn't cook, and doesn't help around the house? I can answer the question again by saying that it all comes down to emotional neglect from our mothers. If a mother is selfish and narcissistic, she'll teach her son to feed her narcissistic supply for scraps of approval, and when he gets older and finds a wife or girlfriend, she'll do the same thing. It's a cycle of emotional neglecting and power tripping. To put this in a nutshell, it's a self-destructive behavior that leads to weakness. The more emotionally neglected your mother was, the easier it is for you to be weak and self-destructive. When your partner has narcissistic tendencies like this, you're likely to have trouble finding the self-worth necessary to challenge and change him. Early on, you were likely encouraged and conditioned to be self-sufficient and not rely on others for help. Your father probably made your mom feel inadequate, so she didn't expect much help in the way of emotional support from him. When I was at a family gathering a few days ago, I noticed that one mother treated her daughter like an equal. She talked to her daughter about fashion in a very serious way, but she babied her son and did the same with her husband. She treated both of them like children, talking down to them and sneakily controlling them. I read an article about how women hurt men when they treat them like boys. However, it makes sense that women are increasingly treating men like boys. If they grew up in a single-family home, the only male-female interactions they saw were between their mothers and their brothers. If that's all they saw, all they learned to do was baby their male relationship partners in the future. Social capital seems to be the most valuable thing we have in our society, and as a species, we're quickly using up the social capital that our grandfathers and ancestors built and are still standing on. But if mothers give their sons enough attention, the sons will still want female attention, but they'll have a better idea of how to get it based on how the mother treated them. Seeing a woman as a person instead of a love drug means that I don't need her approval to feel happy. It also means that I can see women's manipulative behavior much more clearly than I could when I was a mangina. Now you know that if a mother gives her son a lot of attention, he's likely to become a mangina. But if she gives him too little or no attention, he's likely to become a super money. That's it for today. Hope you like my videos. Hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. Take care.